Hey everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today's video is my 2023 bullet journal setup as well as the January plan with me. Before I say anything about this, I just want to say that I am currently sick, so if you can hear it in my voice, that would be why. So for my 2023 setup, the sort of theme that I wanted to go with was Art Deco because it was very popular in the 1920s, and I was inspired by Amanda Rachley, who did hers based on the 100th anniversary of the Bauhaus art movement, so I wanted to do mine Art Deco. It looks a little bit like The Great Gatsby, and that's because some of these symbols and whatnot were definitely prevalent in movies and stuff like that, so I got a lot of these designs just Googling Art Deco designs. So if you want to do them yourself, easy way to do that. So I have my little title page, and then I created a yearly log. I haven't done this in a while, but I figured it would be a good place for me to reference not only each calendar for the rest of my monthly setups, but also like holidays and whatnot that I might otherwise forget to add in, or people's birthdays, and then I can put in little highlights or whatever I want. I don't know. Anyways, I made this little Dutch door thing. Of course, it wouldn't be one of my setups if there wasn't a mistake, so I accidentally skipped the whole month of May and then had to like go in and redo a whole bunch of this. So that's why it just awkwardly kind of cuts off in a little bit, but I got it all figured out and it's gonna do the trick. I've never done really a Dutch door in my yearly setup. A lot of the things that I did last year are not in this one because I found that I just wasn't using them a whole lot. Like my exercise tracking, all I do is work. I feel like I don't have any time to exercise, so. And I'm not really one to make New Year's resolutions, so that's why there's things like that missing. So it took a while to get all of this done. So enjoy me writing all of these itty bitty little numbers. In terms of the colors, in the 1920s is when they unearthed King Tut and a bunch of other stuff in Egypt. I have had a fascination with ancient Egypt and the Egyptian mythology since I was a child, so these colors were popular in 1923. Everybody was obsessed with like Egyptomania or whatever. I will link the articles and whatnot that I got this information from in the description down below. That's why I chose these colors, is because they came from like a fabric catalog, and it was inspired by colors and fabrics from Egypt, I believe. So that's why I chose those three colors, and they're almost primary colors, which I think is sort of fitting. So after my yearly log, I go into a yearly routine, which is basically like a habit tracker for the entire year. So it's things that I want to be doing weekly, bi-weekly, quarterly. Since I only did this on like one page, there weren't as many things as I could be tracking in there. Maybe next year I'll do a full like 2-page spread of them, but I got this idea from Jashi Corinne on YouTube here, so I will link her video as well. And then on the other side of the page was art goals in the form of bingo. I think that's going to be really fun. I have my waiting on spread, which is basically just a package tracker. I've been ordering a lot more things online recently now that I have like a house address I can send things to, and it was very useful in my last bullet journal, so I decided to do that again this year. Now, I found this Saveopoly thing on Pinterest and I wanted to try it myself. I'm really bad about deciding what amount of money I'm going to put into savings. The rule that I used to go with was like 10% of my paycheck would go into savings, but this is a way more fun way to do it. So really, you just like roll your dice and you go around the board, and whatever you land on is how much money you put away each week. I decided to go with the money amounts that are on the actual Monopoly board that I was referencing. Not everybody is going to be able to save the same amounts of money, so whatever amounts you choose to put on your own board should be what's within your ability to save. I decided to zoom in while I was filming this, just so that you could see the little details a lot better, because it is quite small. It took me a very long time to do this part as well. Actually, all of these spreads, the setup and then all of January, it took me actually 3 days, which I think is the longest it's ever taken me to do any bullet journal stuff. Granted, I am feeling under the weather and maybe that's why, but it took me a really long time, and that's why this video is coming out on, what day is this today, the 4th? Instead of earlier, because it took me significantly longer than I thought it was going to film this. So the Savopoly is a great transition into my January spreads. The theme for this month is board games with like a physical board. I actually don't really like board games, which may come as a surprise to some people because I know board games are quite popular. And you might be like, well, why did you choose to do a board games theme if you don't actually like board games? I'm a really sore loser. So that's the main reason why I don't like board games, because unless I win, I'm probably not going to have fun. But there are some board games that are so simple that you can't not enjoy them. Like, I really enjoy playing Scrabble because I know I'm not going to win, therefore I can't get upset about it. So I always play with my mom, and she's like really, really smart, so I know I'm going to lose regardless. Really, our goal between the two of us is we don't actually play for points, we just see if we can get all the letters on the board. So that was my cover page. For my calendar, I've done Snakes and Ladders, which was another fun game that I used to play as a child. I can't remember the last time I played Snakes and Ladders. I don't know if I would play it now because, again, I am a sore loser, but that's okay. If you can guess what the board games are before I say them, let me know. I think that'd be interesting. So for my mood tracker, on the left side of the page here, I have Candyland. Again, another fun game that I played as a child. The pictures that I'm referencing are from the board game that I physically had as a child. I know there's a couple different versions with different characters or different graphics, so I chose the ones from the board game that I had as a kid. Now my habit tracker, you might be like, well, that doesn't look like a board game I've ever seen before. It's Settlers of Catan. I've only ever played that game once. I don't remember enjoying it in the slightest. Maybe it's because I never really understood the rules, but I needed one more board game, and this is what I settled on. Maybe in the future I could play it again, but I just remember it being very boring. So, not to like slander people who enjoy Settlers of Catan, but it just wasn't for me. But it made a good habit tracker. So I just have my basic expenses on the left side of the page, and then I have a Twister spinner on the right side. I love Twister. I know it's technically, I mean, maybe not what you would consider a board game. I considered it a board game though, with just like an extra large board. And it's fun because, again, it's like not rigged in a way, I guess. I don't know. It's fun to play because everybody loses. And then this is week 2, and this is Sorry. It's been a really long time since I've played Sorry. I remember my grandma having it at her house when I was a kid. I don't know if this is the one where it's like the dice is in the middle and then you like pop the thing and then the dice rolls and that's how you figure it out, but anyways, it's been a really long time since I've played Sorry, and I realized that the board isn't exactly accurate. I realized that afterwards. I don't remember what week we're on. I think this is week 3. I chose to do the Game of Life. Again, I really enjoy playing this game. It's one of the longer games that I actually don't mind playing because there's no losing. It's kind of funny to laugh at what, you're forced to do based on what squares you land on. The game that I was referencing here is from Arrested Development version, so some of the prompts were really funny, and I decided to include them in my own. And then there was a really good pin that gave me inspiration for this. So again, all of my references and everything I will link in the description down below in case you want to do this yourself and to give credit where credit is due. Now my 4th and final week, see if you can get this. It's Clue. I can't remember the last time I played Clue. I honestly don't even remember how to play. I know that there's like, you have to figure out who did what in what room with what tool. And then there's like the stairs in the center and that's where you put the envelope. But it's honestly been so long. that I don't remember exactly how it goes along. So anyways, now we're finally on to the coloring. Can you see why this took 3 days? Because I didn't even finish all the line work in a single day. That's how intensive it was. This reminds me of when I did my Nightmare Before Christmas and my Dr. Seuss spreads, because they were very detailed and it took forever. I'm using my King Art markers as well as my Zebra mild liners. I just find that they are the best for not bleeding through the paper too extensively, and then all of my pastel stuff is from my Tombow dual-ended brush pens. I tried to keep the colors kind of in the same color palette, so for most of the games there's red, yellow, blue, and green, and that's pretty standard for a lot of games that are like 4 players. The only exception would be my Candyland spreads, because all of the squares, there's a lot of different colors of squares, and then my habit tracker, I have different colors for that as well. But everything else has my red, blue, green, and yellow, and I think that's a way to keep it very cohesive. I also added in some darker variations of the same colors just to add a little bit of depth to some of them, because it would be too much if there was all of the same color. In particular, the green for my mood tracker, I had to add a darker green just to make sure that, you know, if I colored in a square green, it wasn't going to be touching the same green that's in the grass. For my expense tracker, as you can see, there's some stuff already filled out. Because it's the 4th of January, I've already started using these spreads. So you'll be able to see that at the very end in the flip through. When I do, you'll be able to see the 2 moods that I filled in. I finished filming all of this on the 3rd, so I don't have that stuff filled in, and then it's the 4th when I'm able to like post this video. So that's why it's partly there, partly not. Anyways, I like the simplicity of having only like 4 colors. Like I said, I added a few more, which you will see here in this spread, and that's just to give it a little bit more variation, like with the trees. I can't remember if I said this or not, but my hand actually went numb drawing all of those little bushes. So, needless to say, it was an art exercise I don't recommend. But I think it ended up looking really good, so I can't complain too much. And then I just tied in some of the same colors from the Candyland into the wheel in the top corner, and that way I'm pulling colors from everywhere and I'm not adding a bunch of random ones in everywhere. So that's how the pink and the light blue are in this spread, and they're also in my Candyland spreads. I think this week is my favorite. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's just the design of it. I'm not sure, but I'm really happy with the way that this one turned out. And let me know what you think of it. I was meaning to post some things for Christmas, and I guess it's gonna have to wait until next Christmas because I worked the entire holiday season. So let me know what you did for your holidays this year. I worked not Christmas Day, but Boxing Day, and then I ended up working New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and staffing was a disaster, and maybe that's why I'm sick. It's because there was so much stress, and it's cold. Who knows? Anyways, this is our last spread. I did a little checkerboard floor because I was referencing a cross stitching, and that's what it had. So anyways, here's my final flip through. I am very happy with the way that this all turned out. I'm excited for what the future holds and slowly filling out these things in the front of my pages here. As you can see, week 1, we're already gonna put away $60 into savings, and that's just week 1 of 52. Now we've got all of our board games all finished here. I really love the way that they all turned out and the way that they look. Everything is so bright, fun, and colorful. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Mondays and sometimes Wednesdays like today. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you all in the next video.